I'm Gavin Townsend, here today with Abdul Buhari, a GB #1 in Discus. Abdul, nice to see you today.
How you doing?
If you'd like to introduce yourself to the crowd, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. My name's Abdul Buhari. I'm a GB international discus thrower. My personal best is 65 meters 44, which ranks me third in the UK, fourth in the all-time British history, and 25th in the world.
That's amazing. And how does it feel to be as well a GB representative?
It feels good. I've been working really hard for a number of years now. I've been throwing discus since 2003, and I've had a number of knockbacks and challenges over the years, but I've always been determined to do well. Discus is a passion of mine, not just my job. It's something that I take very, very seriously. I commit a lot of time and a lot of hours into it, and I enjoy it thoroughly. I really, really do.
So why discus?
I think discus chose me. I used to be a 400-meter runner, and I unfortunately enough to have got injured when I was younger. So I decided while I was doing my A-levels that I would change events. I decided to pick discus because I acquired the technique at a very young age with my first coach, and I loved it. I loved watching the implement fly. I love the prospect of me being able to create the magic where that implement flies, and I've always stuck by it. So as a consequence of that, I picked it, and it picked me, and my strength has developed, and my technique has developed over the years, and I've been really, really enjoying the work I've been doing with my coach, Mark Wiseman, and enjoying the success we've had this year.
Good. And as a 400-meter sprinter, you were about 80 kilos.
Yeah, and that's hard to believe. I'll have to get you some pictures, but yeah, I was about 80 kilos. I trained down at Townsend track in South London. That's where I started my athletics career. And it took me over 2 years to get over 100 kilos. I currently now weigh 126 kilos.
So what's that in stone?
You're looking well over 20-21 stones, comfortably.
So a light frame chap. And how tall are you?
6'5". So yeah, I like to think I carry it pretty well.
I'm having to sit closer to the camera, so I'm not looking too small next to him. So could you explain the discus for the crowd, please?
Yeah, so I throw a discus which is similar to a frisbee in terms of shape, or a plate. It weighs approximately 2 kilos, so a bag of sugar you could say. And I throw it the length of, if you like, halfway through a football pitch. So it's quite a long way. I've been throwing it, as I said, since 2003, and it's one of those events that it's one of the purest of events. It's one of the original Greek sports and events, and I think for me, it's why I got into athletics. It's different to running. It's because throwers can afford to eat loads, whereas sprinters have to eat a certain amount to make weight.
So what you're trying to say is you like your food?
I like my food. I like my food. So if anyone wants to give me free food, I'd be more than happy to take it off.
Chicken sponsors especially. How much a month do you spend on chicken?
Meat generally. My meat. I think I go through about £300-400 a month.
Wow.
on meat alone.
And what about veg and supplements?
Veg and supplements, so vegetables I can probably do about 50 quid a month, and supplements you're looking at about 250 a month.
So you spend mortgage money on feeding you?
Absolutely. Can't wait comfortably. I spend an awful amount of money.
About 700 to 800 pounds?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
It is, and it's a lot of commitment, but equally I like to think of myself as a business of my own, and if I apply and commit myself, then I'll reap the rewards, i.e. with the success and the medals that come with it.
So you like the Ferrari being fed constant fuel?
I like to think of myself an Aston Martin.
Okay, alright. A new Aston Martin engine, brilliant. So if anyone's out there and they want to sponsor Abdul, ideally a chicken supply, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So what's your training schedule like?
I train 6 days a week. So I do one session at Crystal Palace down in South London, and I do the other 5 here at the Loughborough University. And it's a pretty good setup. And the reason I do that is because I currently work 2 days a week at Credit Suisse, where I'm a relationship manager managing some of their clients. And Credit Suisse have been incredibly accommodating, allowing me to work part-time 2 days a week, and allow me to fulfill my passion and my ambition in 212. Of which my Monday sessions in London is a weight session, so I'm in the gym, and then my other sessions in Loughborough are a combination of throwing, jumping, sprinting, weightlifting, powerlifting, swimming, and some endurance work, as well as core, proprioception, and circuits.
So it's not as simple as just jumping in the cage and throwing a few discs.
No.
It's quite a bit more involved.
Yeah, there's quite a lot involved. I mean, before I even enter the circle, I'm warming up for at least an hour. I have to be conditioned enough to be able to enter the circle, so I do lots of general fitness, so lots of circuits, lots of body weight work. My coach, being an ex-army guy, is a strong believer I should be able to handle my own weight before I can put on any more weight or resistance on myself. So my body to weight power and kind of handle is pretty good. I can pull my weight, I can lift my weight, I can push my weight, and I can repeat this over 300-400 times quite comfortably.
What do you bench press?
I can bench press 200 kilos. I did that last year, if you like, or last season. So I'm working towards lifting a little bit more than that this year. But equally, I've got to make sure I balance that with the rest of my training and make sure it's relevant to my throwing. So I'm not going to bench 200 kilos for the sake of my own ego. I want to bench it because I want to move the weight fast, and I need it to be relevant to when I go out and throw the discus.
So that's a good observation for all those bodybuilder types out there. And what about your clean? What about your snatch as well?
My Olympic lifting is pretty good. So I've cleaned once 175 kilos, and I've snatched 130 kilos. So they're not too bad. I'm working towards improving that a little bit more, and I think I can certainly focus on pushing that a lot more. Last year I didn't do any single work. I did mainly 3s and 5s. So I think if I did a bit more single work this year, I'd be able to improve on that considerably, because I'm actually a lot stronger this year than I was last year. So things are moving in the right direction. I'm pleased the way my training has progressed thus far. I'm now looking forward to January, where I'll be away in a camp in South Africa, where I'll be doing a lot more training, probably 3-4 times a day.
Did you feel that will help being outdoors?
Yeah, it helped.
In a warmer climate.
Yeah, it will help considerably. South Africa, this is their summer now, so it's about 28 to 35 degrees right now. The days are slightly longer, so I can get up as I do early here at 6 a.m. and I can be outside really early. I can get 2-3 sessions a day, if not 4, and I can make it quite compact, quite specific, and really increase the intensity of my training during that period.
Are you going out there by yourself, or with the team, or with GB?
We're going out there with GB, so I'm quite lucky. I'll be going out there with a few of the sprinters based at Loughborough, as well as the throwers, and we'd be joined by a few of the London-based GB athletes and the other athletes based abroad.
Okay, and what's your work arrangement like then? You mentioned that you work in London and you train in Loughborough.
Yeah.
It must be quite difficult balancing a lot of things.
It is quite challenging. So I've been a part-time employee for Credit Suisse since 2009, and that was a consequence of me missing out on going to the Beijing Games. I missed out by approximately 70 centimetres. So
how did you feel about that?
I was devastated. I felt I committed all I could at the time to my training, and I felt really confident that I could make the team, and I really pushed myself to the limit, which I thought was the limit at the time, and I just was heartbroken. I remember knowing that I wasn't making the team. A few of the traders rang me up and just said, look, I've got to get over this obstacle, and if I really want this, I've got to commit a bit more to it. So I made a decision to apply for a process where I could work part-time at Credit Suisse. I was fortunate enough to be successful. As a consequence of that, I've been a part-time employee at the firm since October 2009, where I work 2 days a week for them, and I base myself 5 days a week in Loughborough. It works great. The only challenge is the recovery and the travel. Travel can be quite tiring.
You find it quite costly as well.
It is very costly. I have to ensure I book my train ticket or my coach ticket very early on. If I don't, it can cost me for a single trip up to £70.
So Mr. Branson, if you're hearing, Mr. Virgin, we need a train sponsor.
We certainly do.
And do you find it difficult being distant from your friends and family? Because obviously you're from London, you've got friends and family down there, and you're training very hard up in Loughborough most of your week. How do you find it?
I find it really, really difficult. I've been taken away by my choice, away from my home comforts, and I'm conscious it's because I want to accomplish my goal and my ambitions. But it is a challenge because Loughborough, being although it's a great facility, it's that alone. For me, I like to have the balance of both work as well as rest, and in terms of recovery, it's good, but there isn't much to do else other than Loughborough, so I don't have that balance as I would like. I think in London I had it, but unfortunately I don't have the facilities, so I had to sacrifice something, which I'm quite happy with. But I think I would like the opportunity to see my family and my friends a bit more regularly. I know I'm guilty of missing weddings and birthdays and christenings.
But
so
that's the nature of the beast, really.
That is the nature of the beast, and I know I'm not the only one out there in exactly the same situation, and it's something that comes part and parcel of the nature of the industry we're in. I just hope my friends and family can forgive me, and hopefully they'll understand when I bring home the gold.
Get gold and all will be forgiven.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's short-term pain for long-term gain.
Certainly.
And with 2012 round the corner, how does it feel to be representing your own home country?
It feels really good. I've often said this, and I'll say it again. It's a privilege and an honour to represent your country in the home Olympics. It's not a right. And I think we have athletes have got to realise that it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity that a lot of us have been given or could have. So for me, it's an opportunity, one, to give back to the community, the local community, because I compete for a club based where the Olympics will be. I compete for Newham Essex Beagles, and the Olympics will be based there. So it's a wonderful opportunity for the home athletes to be in that area to give back to the community. But also, it gives an opportunity for the crowd to see what athletes do on a day-to-day basis, where all the government money is gone, what it is we do, why we do it, and they want to see returns. So it's important for us to perform.
Appreciate the 7 days a week training,
exactly.
Dedication, 365 days.
Absolutely,
a week.
absolutely.
Yeah. And you must be really happy to be representing yourself as much as your friends and family, your own club, your country.
Yeah, no,
it's such an honour.
It's good. It's good. I've always wanted to represent my country. I've always wanted to represent myself, and I think whether I like it or not, I'm an ambassador to my sport. I'm a role model to my sport,
and to youngsters as well.
Yeah.
And we've done some other videos today as well. With Abdul demonstrating how to do the discus properly, and I would have gave it a try, but I'm hopeless at it. I can barely hold it, let alone throw it. And so, with your training, you've had injuries as well.
Yeah.
Could you explain?
Yeah, sure. I've had in 2006 I tore my right adductor quite severely, which inhibited me from competing that year. So I missed out on what I would say is an opportunity to go to the Commonwealth Games in Melbourne. However, recuperated, recovered well, and came back very, very strong.
Tore a shot off the bone, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. It was absolutely excruciating pain. In 2009, I coached myself. I haven't left my first coach, which was a tough decision. I was fortunate enough to be successful to be selected for the European Club Champs, where I threw a season's best in Portugal.
What distance was that?
It was 58.78.
That's good.
It's a pretty solid throw, coaching myself, so I was really, really pleased. 2009-2010 winter, I cracked my meniscus in my left knee, which inhibited me from doing any throwing, squatting, lifting, even walking. I was on crutches for quite some time. I was told I'd probably not be able to squat ever again, or squat heavy.
And what was going through your mind at that moment in time?
I think at the time I was just so scared. I was more concerned about the fact that I may not actually throw again, as opposed to me not squatting again. Yeah, I wasn't too concerned about walking. I just wanted to throw, which shows where my priorities lie.
Take me to the cage. I'm not bothered about walking.
And then I was just so confused, and so many emotions ran through my mind. But fortunately, I came back stronger, and the physio really paid attention to detail, and I came back in better strength.
And now you're more focused on your stretching and your preventative exercise as much as doing the cage throws and other training.
Definitely.
Have you learned from your previous mistakes then?
Yeah, certainly have. I think as a slightly older athlete, I've matured. I've had no choice but to learn from my mistakes and pick up from the best guys in the world, what those guys are doing and why they're doing it.
Both coaches and athletes?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm fortunate enough to be in an environment where I can pick up a lot from other sports and pick up a lot from other individuals. And it's important I do the stuff away from training, the preventative. It's key because if you're injury free, you can perform a lot longer and you can get that consistency. And as athletes, the only thing we crave the most is consistency because it gives you confidence. I'd love to be in a position where I'm always throwing well because as a consequence of being not injured. And if you can get that, you have more chance of medaling when it matters because you're confident what you're going to do because you've had the opportunity to have a good full winter and a good full summer.
And imagine you're very self-critical and you can be perhaps impatient and hard driving towards your goals.
Yeah, I am.
But that's a good attribute to have, especially in athletics.
Yeah, you have to apply a lot of tenacity to your approach in athletics, as you do in any sport. But I think with the individual sports, because the cameras are all on you, you're faced with everything. You have to ensure that you put yourself in the best possible position so that you can perform when it really matters, and that's all everyone's concerned with. And unfortunately, we're involved in a sport where you're measured upon one single performance. I could throw well all season long, and then when it really mattered, if I didn't throw well, then I'd be measured upon that. So it's important that I do, one, consistently throw well, and two, make sure when it really matters, I deliver.
Completely. And does it affect your religion at all?
It does on a personal level. As a Muslim athlete, this is the first year I did not fast, and it was very, very scary actually. I didn't know how to deal with it, and I got advice from a couple of imams and I got a couple of other senior athletes who are also Muslim. Spoke to a few athletes in America and over here, and I just had to deal with it. And it's, although it's down to interpretation, the religion does dictate if you can, you should fast. And I did not because I was at the World Championships in Daegu, and it was a time when I could not fast.
Because you need the fuel to train.
You need the fuel to train. You need the fuel to recover. But I know that when it's time, I will repay those fasts, and I'll also do what I can.
Go back down to 80 kilos again.
Probably, hopefully not. But no, I'll do what I can, just so one to just demonstrate that I'm actually trying my best, and two to make sure I appreciate the importance of fasting, because the whole point of fasting is to appreciate what others don't have, and the luxury of the fact that I can go into a fridge and take something out and eat, and there are thousands and millions of people out there who don't have that opportunity. So it's important I still have that discipline, and I will make sure I do those things.
Absolutely, it's good. It's a good rule to have. And with the Olympics next year, what's your dream?
Well, first of all, short term is to win the British Trials again. Then that would then allow me to be selected for the Olympic Games, so make the Olympic team, which by no means will be easy across athletics, every single sport. Nothing is guaranteed. When I've got that letter saying I've been officially selected, the next stage would be to make the Olympic final, and then once I've made the Olympic final, then we'll be going for a medal when we get to the final.
Sorry, what medal?
Gold medal.
Excellent, that's the actual one. Thank you very much, Abdul, for this interview.
Thanks so much for your time.
We'll speak to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.